What's up, ladies and gentlemen? It's your boy Bullets Gotti. So this video right here that I'm doing, I'm gonna be honest. I wanted to do this video because I just did the Diddy video when I said I want to talk about the Shyne documentary. So this is my review on the documentary. Dope documentary, you know what I'm saying? Um, Shyne telling this story. You know, he been talking about he was doing a documentary way back when, like 2021. He was talking about it 2020. But really, 2021, he was talking about that he was doing a documentary in 2022 and 2023. So the documentary, Honorable, I saw it Monday, early in the wee hours, like around like 1 in the morning. I watched the whole documentary. Solid documentary, you know what I'm saying? It gets great thumbs up. Um, it talks about, his humble beginnings coming from Belize, coming to the States. Um, you know, his didn't go too in depth to his street life, but it talked about him getting shot, and him getting the deal and the whole club New York and everything. And him going into Israel, coming to Belize, then going to Israel, Judaism, talking about the racism that he dealt with going to Israel and him not being accepted, you know, by the people in Israel, and him, living in Paris and then leaving Paris, going back to Belize, having a rebirth and getting into politics. I salute Shyne on that. But I'm gonna say this, right? The documentary, he didn't give, he didn't shade Puff. You know what I'm saying? Um, he said, like he said before, it was a situation with the lawyers. He talked about how he really didn't have great representation. He had the same lawyer as my son, Rich, and so he just felt that he didn't have the same, great defense that Puff had because they didn't put up the fight for him. He also talked about how, he, let off in the club. And he talked about, certain things. And he talked about how he healed, and he talked about, a lot of the things. Now, I want to say this about Shyne, right? And I'm going to say this, right? Shout out, I just saw something with Nino. Shout out to Nino, who came out and just did something on them, right? If y'all don't know who Nino is, y'all gonna find out who Nino is. That was who ran with Shyne. When Shyne, you hear Shyne talk about his cousin dying in the car accident when he wrecked his Benz on Start From Scratch. Mark Curry and me talked about it. That's who Shyne was running with at the time, right? Shyne, and I think in this documentary, he didn't go in depth in a lot of things. Like, he didn't talk about, in which I understand because he's a politician, he didn't want to go in depth in a whole lot of things. But Shyne had a lot going on before the Club New York thing, the death of his cousin in the car accident, certain situations that he had before, the situation with the chicks coming to the crib and the chick was screaming that she was sexually assaulted. Mark Curry spoke about it. So it was a whole lot of things that, and even if you listen to the documentary, he didn't go too in depth, but he talked about a few things, right? He talked about a few things in there. He talked about how Hove, was hating. We gonna keep it real. Jay was hating on Shyne. He talked about how, at the time when he was, working on his album, Bad Boy was somewhat at a, you would say, a decline, because at that time you had Rough Riders, you had, Jay-Z with Rockefeller, you had, Murder Inc. coming up. So Bad Boy really was not even in the conversation. And then when you get Black Rob and you get Shyne, now this is after Mace and the Lox left. You know, we all knew that Shyne was with Brandy. You know, Shyne was not only just with Brandy, but he was with Mariah, you know, Christina Aguilera. You know, he was with a lot of joints back in the days. You know, Shyne was that dude. When you say he was that dude, he was that dude. He was that dude at that time. You know what I'm saying? He was pulling them big boy toys. You know, pushing the Rolls Royce, the Bentley. You know, the Benzes, the Range Rovers, the Porsches, the Ferraris. The watch game was, the Rollies and the the APs and the Frank Muellers, and he was flossing heavy. He was flossing heavy. The whole swagger with the hat low, him, being around dudes like Nut and dudes like Zeke and Nino and Whirl and Wolf and Zip and all them. Like, he was around some real dudes, man. Real dudes. Shyne was around real dudes, man. And early in his career, he was running with Mason, Harlem World and them. When he first came on the label, he was running around with Mace. That's why you see him in the Get Ready video with the hat low with the leather jacket on, with Mace. You know what I'm saying? So Shyne was in the mix, heavy, and he was getting to it. At that time, he was getting to it. He was living that life. He was getting to it. He was, like you said, he was partying all night in the Hamptons. You know what I'm saying? He was getting to it. You know what I'm saying? And the motivation of him doing that Bad Boy, because when Bad Boy came out, people gotta look, when that record Bad Boys came out with him and Barrington Levy, that shook up the streets. Now, everybody remember the total record was the one that really set it off for him, Sitting in the Room remix. But it was Bad Boys that took him to that next level. You know what I'm saying? And just that whole album was solid. Like, we talking about joints like Bang, What You Gonna Do, The Commission, Niggas Gonna Die. Like, it was joints on there like, The Life. He said, it's a new day in the rap game. Nobody sell more records than Sean Poe. He talking about, The Life was like an autobiography of Nicky Barnes' life and Al Poe life all in one. When you listen to that joint and you listen to it, it's like Fed Magazine on audio, but he rapping. He's rapping it. You know what I'm saying? And that was what Shyne was like. He was that dude. Like, before 50 came out, Shyne was, the voice of the streets. Like, around that time, when you talk like the 2000s, going in like Black Rob, Shyne, Beanie Siegel, DMX, Ja was hot at that time. Ja was on fire. The Locks. That was like the voices of the streets around that time. You know what I'm saying? Like, when you talk about like Cam was like, these was the dudes that was like, when you talk about that street rap, that gutter shit, CNN, Nori, and Capone, like, Nas was still like, and then, even when it comes to like, even with his, because the Biggie thing, right? Because people say, yo, Shyne sound like Big. Shyne didn't really sound like Big to me. He was a mixture of, you could hear like his voice. He had the raspy voice like Nas. He had the raspy voice like Method Man, and he had the raspy voice. Big didn't have a real raspy voice. So when you listen to Shyne music, his voice was very hot, very raspy. So he didn't sound like Big. Now, his early stuff, like, you could say like his early stuff, it sound a little bit, but it didn't really sound like Big. You know what I'm saying? When it got to his album, when he did that Shyne album, he had his voice. You know what I'm saying? He had a mystique, different type of voice. Shyne was the first dude I ever heard talking about APs and Frank Muellers on a record. Nobody was talking about Frank Muellers and APs. Niggas say Jay-Z. Jay-Z was not talking about APs and, and Frank Mueller's when Shyne was talking about it in 99, 2000. I'm talking about 2000, I mean, yeah. You know, late 99 going into 2000. You know, Shyne was saying this on the tapes. You know what I'm saying? So, really, he was a trendsetter. He was a trendsetter. But, like, let me just say this about the whole thing with Club New York, right? And the thing with Puff and him, right? A lot of people have, and this is how I feel about just the whole thing with Shyne, right? I love Shyne's growth. I love that he left the rap game and he transitioned to the politics. You know, you see it with Do It All. You see it with Do It All doing his thing with the politics, right? You know, because that's what a lot of rappers, they have aspirations of being businessmen and being politicians. And Shyne took it to the next heights of being a political figure. Now, a lot of people saying, you know, yo, Shyne, what's up? You throwing Puff on the bus, you was chilling with him and all that. And to be honest, Shyne is being a little unfair and being a little bit, you know, kind of wrong a little bit. He throwing Puff under the bus because Shyne, when he came home and even when Shyne was in jail, Puff was giving him money through L.A. Reid when he was the big dog at Def Jam. When he signed his deal, he got the $3 million from Def Jam. That came from Puff through L.A. Reid. Then he got, I think, $5 million or $7 million again. I think it was $5 million through L.A. Reid again when he came home, and L.A. Reid came to police and he gave him that. Puff and him been squashed they beef. You know what I'm saying? He fell out with Puff, you know, but they been had squashed they beef. You know what I'm saying? He been had squashed the beef. He did the Bad Boy reunion and all that. Puff been out there to police. You know what I'm saying? Just like Kanye was out there and Jay Prince, Puff was out there in police with Shyne. You know what I'm saying? And they been had squashed they beef. You know what I'm saying? Puff got him a Maybach. You know what I'm saying? Puff supported his campaign. You know, not only that Puff supported his campaign, but also Puff was the one that lobbied for him to get back into the country. So Puff was doing a whole lot of things and it helped out Shyne. I just don't think that Shyne should be throwing Puff under the bus like that. I think that was kind of, you know, kind of foul. You know, because Little Rod, you know, lie. But I understand Shyne feel the way he feel. But I feel that, you know, that was your mans. You held him down. That was your brother. And you said that's your brother. You said that's your mans. You held him down that night. You said you shot Julius Jones. And he said in his documentary that he shot Julius Jones. He said that. Julius Jones and Scar told on Shyne. You know, told on Shyne and Puff. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, and Shyne said that on multiple interviews. Now, I understand he has political aspirations. Like, he don't want to go and talk about when he was Damu. You know, a lot of people don't know. Shyne had his own hood, gangland. You know, he was Damu, got the rims and all that. You know, shout out to Big Eggs, who gave him the hood. You know what I'm saying? Shyne was Damu. Shyne was Damu in the streets, but when he went to jail, he got heavy on the Damu shit. You know, when he went to jail. You know, but like I said, he's a political, you know, person. He's into politics. So that's not his frequency no more. His frequency is politics. And I get it. He has to be politically correct. He has to be PC. You know, it was pressure on him in Belize by, you know, the political parties that had an issue with him because they feel that is nepotism. They feel a whole lot of things. So I understand why he feel away. You know, in the documentary, he didn't really shit on Puff. He didn't go at Puff crazy. You know, it you know, but I also think that when it comes to the Club New York thing, you know, they got to tell us the truth, you know. And Shyne let his gun go. He said it out of his own mouth. He let his gun go. You know what I'm saying? Now, as far as the other chick talking about she got shot, that chick ain't get shot in her face. You know, that was a lie. You know, she didn't get shot in her face. She got hit with glass. Everybody know that. As far as Scar was the aggressor in that situation. You know what I'm saying? He was drunk and he was the aggressor. You know what I'm saying? But it had nothing to do with him being signed or none of that bullshit. It was some other shit, you know? And like I said, You know, it's some bullshit that people would think that, you know, what happened that night, it should have never happened. But, you know, like I said, Scar was the aggressor in that situation. You know, and far as like everything else, you know, I get it. Shyne is on you know, a positive virtue. You know, he's trying to build up beliefs. He's doing his thing on a politics level, you know. And if you watch the documentary, he didn't really go at Puff crazy. He just said, you know, because he's a politician, he had to distance himself from Puff. But I just think that was kind of corny to do that, you know. And I think just not only just Shyne, but it's like French Montana, Stevie J, you know, Corey, like these dudes, they just distancing themselves from Puff. And I feel like Puff, you know, dudes should support Puff the way he lobbied and supported them. You know what I'm saying? Now, I get Meek Mill. Meek Mill is a flip-flopper. So I don't even got nothing to say about him. He's a flip-flop and a sucker. But for the other dudes, like French, like Stevie J, like Shyne, you know, and Buck, you know, dudes is like, come on, man. You know, and I understand. I heard, you know, Shyne interview on the Breakfast Club. He gave Puff his flowers, and then he said, you know, Puff gave him 50,000. You know, but come on, man, don't do that. You know, that's the thing. That's the thing that people got to gripe with Shyne is like, yo, bro, you come on, you ain't keeping it 1,000. You know what I'm saying? Keep it all the way 1,000. I feel like, you know, if Shyne keep it all the way 1,000, people wouldn't be on him like that. Cause it's like, yo, Shyne, bro, you know, you and him was together. You was there at his ceremony when he got his key to the city. You was there when he performed at the Garden. You was at Chop House with him, the after party with Dawn Poole, and everybody was there. Mary J. Blige, Maxwell, Vado, Fab. You was there at the party. So don't act the way you acting towards son because you was with son. You know what I'm saying? And like that's what I'm saying. Like Shyne ran with Puff. You know what I'm saying? And you know, Puff and him was tight. You know what I'm saying? Super tight. And they worked on their relationship. They got back cool and was, you know, for a long time they been cool. You know what I'm saying? Because, you know, after, you know, Shyne did that rant, he was 2016, he was at the Bad Boy reunion. You know what I'm saying? So, come on, man. I felt like, you know, Shyne, I get it. He doing his interview, and I respect his interview. I respect, you know, him doing his thing, going on Math Hoffa, going on Breakfast Club, you know, going on Bag Shoe. I respect that. He was doing his promo run and promoting his stuff. You know what I'm saying? And basically, you know, telling his story. But, you know, and I'm going to keep it real. Flex was kind of out of pocket. You know what I'm saying? Because everybody knew what that Junior Mafia situation was, you know, because Shyne was cool with Junior Mafia. And what happened was, it had nothing to do with the big thing. It was some other shit that happened, you know. And, you know, Shyne was a cocky dude, and he was, you know, arrogant. He set it off. But the situation that happened was, you know, his ties with Foxy Brown, and they didn't really rock with Foxy. And it was other things that transpired with that. But with it all being said and done, you know, Shyne doing his thing. He's on a positive thing right now. You know what I'm saying? He's on a positive thing. He's on a positive space right now. You know what I'm saying? And I get it. He's on his political thing, and he don't want to really be mixed with a lot of things, and it's understandable. But come on, dudes feel like, yo, Shyne, come on, keep it 1,000, my nigga. Don't flip on a nigga. But I understand the pressure. You know what I'm saying? You know, and I was watching the Breakfast Club. You know, Charlamagne tried to say J-Lo. Nah, I wasn't J-Lo. And I'm not going to say who it was, you know, but the girl that him and Puff was dealing with at the same time is somebody near to Puff, you know. But he a funny dude, though. Charlamagne the God, he do a lot of his thing. And all these other dudes that's talking about Shyne, man, like I said, bro, you know, dudes got to speak his piece. But like I said, man, you know, keep it 1,000. But it's a great documentary, though. I fucks with it. Shyne Honorable. Go check it out on Hulu. Great documentary.